these are the three main core things that one needs to be go well prepared with. And I'm sure with all this preparation and with the right attitude, one would be able to crack big companies for sure.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another podcast by Growjunction. And I, Shivangi Shaw, will be your host for the day. Today, we have with us Mr. Vaibhav Verma, Senior Operations Manager at Mahindra Logistics. We are honored to have you, sir.
Thank you so much, Shivangi. Thank you so much for having me with you and giving me the opportunity to share my experience with the larger audiences. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So, how are you, sir? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm absolutely fine. Thank you so much, Shivangi.
Yes, sir. So, sir, moving on with the podcast. So, this question will be like, if you could give a short introduction of yourself first.
For sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Vaibhav Verma. I work as a Senior Operation Manager in Mahindra Logistics, and I take care of the region West for middle mile operations here. And I've been worked with the companies like Amazon, Swiggy, Reliance Media Works, right? And about my educational background, I've completed my graduation in 2009 and my MBA in operations 2012, and currently pursuing my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. So this would be a kind of a brief introduction about me.
Right, sir. So moving forward, tell us something about your, hometown, like where were you brought up, and did it have any impact in your career decisions?
Yeah, really, while talking about operations and, I was born in a very small, I was though born in Hyderabad, but I used to live in a very small remote towns in the Andhra Pradesh. So I belong to a business family, not a big business for sure. It's a traditional business, what my father used to do. But, I from childhood, I used to ideally help him out in all this execution part, right? So I used to see how a lean structure works in a small business, and with such low resources, he used to manage so well. So I was always fascinated, how actually the execution happens in business. So it actually impacted me and in my career, like to opt for getting into operation, because it's the core area, where it's if business sales isn't sold, then operation is the heart, right? So it's really important, like you need to be into the core of the business.
Right, sir. So moving forward, was it always that you wanted to go into operations? Like, how did you plan your career in, operations? If you could throw some light.
Yeah. So I just rightly said, like, I was always fascinated with the execution part in the businesses, right? So yes, I always want to be a part of operations, but I didn't knew I want to be a part of a logistic operation or maybe some other thing. So when I was doing my MBA, so I was an intern like you in Reliance Media Works. So I was taking care of media operations there, where it really fascinated me, where I used to handle a huge manpower. So a manpower of somewhere, 50 to 100. And I need to, allocate them the work and, meet the customer requirements, SLAs. So that and strategically plan, even in some contingency, how do we ideally plan? So that a part of internship of 3 months, ideally, it gave me a really a boost. Like, yes, I'm going into the right part, but yes, when joining companies like Amazon, it gives you the maximum boost. You when you work with the giants, like e-commerce giants, so there the scope is larger. It's huge.
Right, sir. So, sir, moving forward, how should one prepare for their interviews? Does being a fresher or having a work experience have, an impact during the placements?
Uh, This is a very interesting question, and I think so. This will, every grad and the undergrad wants to know for their job. Yeah. So the most important skill that is required, when getting into the operation or maybe during while the interviews, one should have a problem-solving skills. Like so, being an interviewer or interviewee, one expects to have a positive approach, uh, and how a candidate will be able to meticulously plan into a situation. Like the most important thing is you need to have that positive approach plus uh, the less losses while you are into a contingency, and what would be the action plan. So there should be a minimum customer impact. So that is the first important point, that is the problem solving skills. And one supposedly if it being a fresher or someone is having an experience, someone having an experience will definitely give an added advantage to it, but it's not necessary a fresher won't be able to crack it out, because being a fresher, we being an MBA student, we do a lot of case studies, but there is no an apt answer to any of the case, right? There are different solutions to it. So it's upon you and plus the company principles how they want it. So the most important, the second part would be like preparing with the principles of the company. You should be having thorough knowledge, at least some kind of a research where you will be getting to know about the principles, 4 to 5 principles. Then you prepare your own cases and what would be the positive approach towards it and the right skill set that would be required. Correct. So this is one of the second important thing. And the third would be your peer contacts. Supposedly, if they're working in the similar organization, you got a lot of scope of getting into LinkedIn and finding out people. You can just ask from them as well how the company is and how things ideally work there. So interestingly, and also it depends on the luck, how your interviewer is and how he takes you. But these are the 3 main core things that one needs to be go well prepared with. And I'm sure with all this preparation and with the right attitude, one would be able to crack big companies for sure. And also, interestingly, I'll give you one number of a stats. Recently, I was going through one of the study where in past 1 year, the leaders, the most of the CEOs are from the operations. 46% of the CEOs are coming from operations, and the rest 24% of the sales, and the rest of the other categories follows. So now operations is so much of important, and why the CEOs are 46% of CEOs are part of operations.
Right, so that was very insightful. So regarding the specialization, like operations, if someone has done their, graduation or any other thing in any other specialization like finance or marketing, and then he or she wants to come into operations. So what do you think, a starter's guide to that?
That's a very interesting one. I'll just give you my own example. So while I was telling you I was graduated, I was not a graduate in commerce. I was a graduate in BM, Ambassador in Mass Media, right? So while getting from mass media into logistics, right? But one needs to understand operations. Execution is the most important part, right? When I say, be it finance, be it any, if they come from the strategy or you come from the marketing background also, you just need to understand the core aspects of the business, right? Once you are through it, once you understand how the process flow works, I think so anyone can get into it. It's absolutely not a rocket science. It's a very simple thing to do, just with the right mindset. The only important thing you're getting into is the right mindset and the right approach. Have that analytical skills where what needs to be applied. Like supposedly, I handle a man force or somewhere around, now 1,000 plus. It's really important, how to handle the manpower. It's the psyche. You need to understand each and every psyche, and you need to be get connected with the people. And operation is such a thing. It's man driven, correct? It's a human intervention, lot of human intervention. So it's really important to get connected and delegate right people at the right place. If you do that, you will be able to definitely give the right amount of productivity. You can optimize your resources, and and I believe, be it from the financial background or maybe marketing, and people like me who were doing into mass media and then getting into operations completely, right? So my in the whole career span of 10 years, I've been working in operations since long, but into the logistics, it's like 7 years completely e-commerce logistics. And yeah, this helps ideally. If some of the factors can be, if one can keep in mind, anyone can get into.
Right. So that was a great transition, by the way. Very impressive. So moving forward, as we know, due to COVID, many sectors were impacted, and many employees were also working remotely, and even the customers were facing problems. So, what was the impact of it on the operations sector? And if you could throw some light on that, what was the impact of the pandemic?
Right. It was really an unexpected situation that has really cropped up, and it affected mostly the hospitality industry, retail industry, and specifically not e-commerce, I would say, moreover, but operations were really affected. So when it comes to my core specialization in like e-commerce logistics, there was like a sudden volatility, where in terms were we were unable to understand the order process flow. Previously we used to have a set of historical data. Basis on that, we used to we plan our operations and executions forth. But during the pandemic, it was really, it has become very much dynamic. Like what would be the order process and how the volumes would figure out. And in that transition period, we used to see like 3x of volumes, and we as a company, we never wanted to fail our customers, right? So this really becomes important. So the action plan was very much quick enough to set up many of the temporary warehouses and everything, but to minimize the customer impact. And COVID was like an eye opener for all of the companies. So in the operations, what they have, proactively, not exactly proactively, but they have now planned, as in they were putting the storage, extra storage in the warehouses. So where people used to just, had in concern or just in time and getting all the things, but now they are actually stocking up their, all the products and everything into the warehouses. So even in case if the pandemic arises, if they should be having enough stock, and they will get a time to actually react and proactively plan. So yes.
Yes, sir. Right. So, sir, my last question will be, so there must have been struggles and obstacles you must have faced in your journey. So could you please share some of them and how you overcame them? What were your learnings from them?
Yeah, this is a really important one for me as well. First would be the obviously what we discussed about the COVID disruptions. Like that was a real difficult phase. Like we were like onto the operations on the ground 24/7 and just planning how to serve our customers without giving much of impact, right? And that was the most important thing. But we with a good team of mine, and we strategically planned really well, and we had a very minimal impact on that. So that was a really learning for me, like how to act instantly when such kind of contingencies arises. So in that contingency, it gave me a lot of you need to be on your toes. You cannot be complacent about anything. So planning strategically was very much important. That I learned how to manage things instantly. That was one of the thing. And and I like to switch different kind of operations, because I feel that operations are one and the same wherever you go. Like it's just the processes which are different, correct? So my another career switch was I switched to I was working with Swiggy. That was an online food delivery app, right? So again, all the companies, they are customer centric completely. So getting into the warehousing industry, logistics, e-commerce, and getting into the online food delivery, that was again a challenge for me. But that was a period where I learned key whatever I used to do in my previous companies, I can ideally apply to it. Is like how do I reduce my the food delivery time, right? So I in fact I have some put the automations into the Swiggy kitchens as well. So that really helped to reduce the overall food making time, the prep time, and to the delivery. So we have achieved a remarkable, experience there as well. So there's no stoppage, but it's just that you need to get into a situation and provide as many solutions to it, right? And also, the one more important aspect was, we are facing a lot of crisis due to the plastics, what we are doing wastage. So many of the people want to rid of getting the plastic is really affecting our environment, right? So I was a part of that integral project where, so we tried many of the things where even the paper shouldn't be used much, because ultimately it would be impacting the environment as well. The trees would be cut down. So we came up with a solution with a biodegradable, which can be used for the food and as well as for the packaging as well. So all these learnings, it has given a very good experiences. And moreover, I just want to say, in whatever you get into, and whatever, just don't fade away from the situation, and just be into it, and you'll definitely at some point of time you'll definitely land up with something good.
Right, sir. So that was very inspiring, sir. Thank you. So, sir, thank you so much for answering all our questions so patiently and taking out time for our viewers. Sir, a few words for Growjunction, if you could.
I think so. This is a very important platform. I think so. You have given taking people like us of some kind of experience that we have, and maybe someone can be benefited from it. Yeah. So thanks for the opportunity, and thanks to you, Shivangi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I am honored. So, sir, we are again honored to have you with us. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shivangi. Thank you.